Hey girls, Erin Davis here with week 5 of our liesyoungwomenbelieve.com book club. Can you believe it? We are halfway through True Woman 201. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So the theme for this week was virtue, and that might feel like an old-fashioned word, or it might seem like something that doesn't matter much to you. But as we learn in this week's study, it is the other side of something that I know matters very much to many of you, and that's purity. So, where purity is trying to keep things clean and trying to keep impurities out of your life. Virtue is replacing those impurities with good things. And I think if we miss that part of the equation, then we don't really understand purity. There's a couple of examples of this in Scripture that we talked about this week. In Matthew 23, Jesus is blasting the Pharisees, and he calls them a couple of names that we might not necessarily think are bad names in our culture, but he calls them whitewashed tombs and dirty cups. And he says, you're pretty on the outside, but on the inside, you're full of junk. And he was really talking about purity there. And what he was talking about was acting pure, doing the right things, or not doing the right things, but inside, not necessarily caring about having a heart for purity, a heart like God's, not replacing the junk with godliness. And I gotta say that I'm so guilty of this. True confession time. I made it to my wedding day a virgin. I walked down the aisle in a white dress. And I'm so glad that I did. That's had such a profound impact on my life and my marriage. But for a lot of years, it was like in my mind I had a virginity trophy. I had done it. I was a virgin at a time when it seemed like nobody was. And whenever I encountered somebody who wasn't a virgin, I would polish up that trophy in my mind. I remember I had a sparring match once with a boy in a college class. He wasn't a virgin and was proud of it, and I was a virgin and was proud of it. And we just were at odds with each other. And I know, looking back, that I came across really judgmental and bitter and entitled. And none of those things were pretty things in my heart. And when I encountered girls who weren't virgins, either because they didn't have that same standard or because they'd blown it, I'd polish up that trophy in my mind again. I'd remind myself how good I was, how pure I was. But that wasn't pretty stuff that was eking out of my heart. Sure, I had purity in one area of my life, but I was lacking virtue. Another area that it showed up is that I sometimes felt justified in sinning in other ways because I was a virgin. I wasn't committing this, what in my mind was this huge sin, so it was okay if I lied, cheated, lost my temper. I misunderstood purity because purity is first and foremost an issue of the heart. You can wear a ring on your finger, you can refuse to date or kiss a boy, you can walk down that aisle in a white dress that you earned because of your purity standard. But if your heart isn't full of goodness and godliness, it's just like Jesus was saying to those Pharisees. The outside's all scrubbed up, but the inside is full of junk. Purity, I'm going to say it again, is first and foremost a heart issue. And I thought this week was such a good reminder that as we're serious about dealing with sin in our lives, we also need to be serious about filling our hearts with the good things that only come from God, the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So my question for you is, are you polishing up your purity trophy in your mind? Are you really concerned about the list of do's or don'ts? Don't do this, don't wear that, don't date him, don't do that. And not as concerned with asking the Lord to give you a pure heart full of good things. There's a couple of prayers in this week's study that I would encourage you to pray this week. I'm going to put them in the blog post below, along with a huge giveaway that we're having this week. So be sure and read to the very bottom. And hop back next Tuesday for week 6 of our summer book club.